Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Evan and welcome back to my channel of Vanishing Evan, and welcome to this tutorial series where I'll be showing you from start to finish how to extract and apply a variety of 3D models, animations, textures from several Call of Duty games. Also, don't forget to check out the Discord, link in the description, along with maybe consider checking out my Patreon, also link in the description. Now without further ado, let's get to the video. Alrighty, welcome to part 3 of this tutorial series. I'm going to show you how to texture this character just like he is in game. Right now you see that we have some issues picking up right where we left off. He looks a little wonky. I have the skeleton of the character selected. I'm just going to press H to hide it for now. And you can press Alt H to get everything back, but we're just going to keep that hidden for now. And we're going to do our best to make this character look as good as possible. So, first things first, we're going to select the main body of the character. In this case, I used Ghost because he's really easy to use because his entire body is all one texture, minus the head, but just the main body area is all one, so that makes this that much easier. And if you followed along and did the C model importing, then the character will he'll have the textures already put in. He doesn't not have a texture. It's just that his texture is broken. That's why it's black. So what you're going to have to do is go into the folder under Greyhound. I'll just go back real quick. But if you go into the Greyhound folder, exported files, the game that you extracted the model from, the models, and go to the body of the character in this case, and go to images, you can actually find all the textures. And right here, the body textures are here. And you can see that we have a variety of different ones. We have this, which, believe it or not, is supposed to be the color texture of the character, and this is why it's messing up and why it's all black. It's because there's a high amount of transparency that makes it almost invisible. And Blender translates transparency to black, to darkness. So I'm going to show you how to fix that and get the color back. If we go over, we can see this is a normal map. Believe it or not, there's actually a similar issue happening here, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But this blue, purpley looking map is, it controls the way that shadows interact with your character, and it's very good for games and animation because it adds extra levels of detail to your character with almost no computational cost, which is why they're used in just about every game or show made today. But now we're moving on. This is the sheen texture. I actually have no use for this. Roughness and just sliders in Blender take care of this already. And this right here is the thermal map, and believe it or not, this is actually pretty useless too, because this is for when a character is being looked at through a thermal scope in game. It's actually not used for any technical purpose, so we're just going to close out of that now, and I'm going to well, actually not shift, I'm going to right click this image right here that is supposed to be the color texture, and I'm just going to open with, and then in this case I'm going to be using GIMP. You can use any photo editing software that you prefer, such as Photoshop, or in this case GIMP. I just use this one because it's free and it does the job very well. And we're just going to open that up. And the way that you fix the transparency issue is by duplicating the layers a million times. So in order to duplicate a layer in GIMP, you have to press Control-Shift-D. I don't know how you do it in Photoshop, but you see as I duplicate the layer that is very transparent, over the course of many copies, you can see the color coming through. So just go ahead and hold that down for a minute until you can't see any more checkered pattern in the background, like this. And then we're going to go to File, and then Overwrite. And this is actually going to fix the character's textures. Now all we have to do is drag this into Blender and it will fix itself, which is amazing. So we're going to go back to that folder where we had the color texture. You can see it's fixed, and I'm just going to drag it in. Boom! The character already looks 100 times better, but there's plenty more we can do to fix it. So what we're going to do is, for clothing, I really recommend turning up the roughness to 0.8 or 0.9 on the Principled BSDF shader, because it just makes it look a lot more realistic. And then the finishing touch to make anything extracted from Call of Duty makes it just look 100 times better is applying a normal map. Actually, I wouldn't say it makes it 100 times better. I'd say it makes it like 3 or 4 times better, but that's just my opinion. But in this case, you can check your normal maps by just opening them up in a photo editing software like I did already. So what I'm going to do is open with GIMP, and if there's any checkered marks in the background, that means that this image is transparent, and we don't want that. So we're just going to do what we did with the other texture and duplicate it until there is no transparency. And right there, overwrite. And if we used it before doing this, it actually causes more problems than, like, it just looks terrible. It adds a lot of shadow glitches, and the character just will not look proper. But now we're just going to drag in that normal map texture after we fixed it, and then press Shift A, and then Vector Normal Map, and drag that in right here towards the bottom of the principled BSDF shader. We're going to plug color into color from the color texture of the normal map into the normal map node, and then drag the normal from the normal map node into normal tab of the principled BSDF shader. And you're going to see it looks a little weird at first, but what we have to do to fix this is go to the texture that you dragged in and change it to non-color. That fixes it some, and then we're going to just adjust the roughness, and for some reason that fixes it sometimes. And now you're going to see lots more detail on your character. In Eevee, you might have to tone down the strength a little bit. Let me have a look. Actually, I think it looks pretty good at 1. I'll just leave that 0.9 to be safe, but the character looks phenomenal. You can see the creases in the hood and everything are showing up now, and it looks a lot more like it does in game. And this is the entire node setup that I use for these extracted characters. It's nothing fancy, and it gets the job done. And if we are moving on to the head, you would just do the very same process. And I'm just going to speed run through this real quick. The head color texture looks like it's fine, so we're just going to add in the normal map. I'm going to go in here, back up to the head real quick, images, and then head of the mask, and then bada bing, bada boom. Double check that this isn't broken, which I have a feeling that it is. So we're going to open up the normal map of the mask in GIMP, and then Control-Shift-D because there's issues. File, overwrite, and then close that, and then drag it in. Once it's fixed, easy peasy. And then we're going to do Shift A, Vector Normal Map, and then drag color into color, normal into normal. Oh shoot, normal into normal, and bring the strength down to 0.9 so it's matching across the entire character. Switch that to non-color, increase the roughness, and the mask looks great. Go to the eye. There's no need to add the normal map. It's a little bit of overkill, so we're just going to crank down the roughness to almost nothing, so it's very reflective. The under mask right here, the character's eyes, well, the area around the eyes of the face, we're just going to turn up the roughness a little bit and leave it as is. No need to apply the normal map to an area with such little detail. It will never get noticed. And we're going to go to the eyelashes. I actually have an entire video on this, on how to make the eyelashes look better and how to properly texture hair in Blender. But what we're going to do is we're going to go back to here. We're going to go we're going to go to the character eyes. Actually, no, where is it? Eyelashes. And you're going to see a black and white texture. And what we're going to do is drag this right in, and then just drag color into alpha. And then go to this little tab down here. It's the material properties. And we're going to go down to settings and change blend mode and shadow mode from opaque to alpha hashed. And that will make it so that the eyelashes are actually eyelashes and not little square things. And with that, you have a character that is fully textured and extracted from the game, and it looks great. You can add in a little bit of extra lighting, and if I added in an HDRI, like this, the character actually looks a little bit better. If you see any weird issues with the shadows, make sure that you just tone down the normal map and that'll fix them. In this case, I think it's just bad lighting because I haven't taken any time to actually set up a decent scene. But the character looks phenomenal, fully textured, and that's where I'm going to end this part of the tutorial. And in the next one, I'm going to show you how to apply animations to this bad boy right here.